I crave a state that bends to will, not law. May chaos feed the cause and mask the flaw.
I want the frame to shift beneath their feet, may process sing, and still ensure defeat.
Let loose the coin behind the sealed facade. Let rule enable fraud and call it God.
Now I've stirred the mob with fear that burns and spreads, but fear alone won't crown the proper heads.
Indeed, I've bent the ink of oversight and claim, yet still they sniff the scent beneath the name.
I've siphoned budgets dry through all designs, but cleaner exits come with deeper minds.
So now we dream a system we control, where storms obey the man who sets the toll.
A loop that feeds itself with each review, where law defends the one who first withdrew.
A scheme so laced into the state's routine, the grift is called as oil to machine.
Then let's begin. No stealth, no soft approach.
We'll rig the game and hand the rules the coach.
And when they cheer, not knowing what they've bought, we'll make the claim and bill them for the thought. Here's the play. We create our own agency. No mandate, no external eyes. A ghost, but we do it loud, deafening.
Executive orders, splashy pressers, meme-ready acronym, something the internet'll go nuts for.
The saviour of government. Forward-thinking, efficiency-driven. Not reform, optimization.
Website up day 1, a dozen mandates by day 10.
The message isn't we're going to cut waste, it's that we already did.
Strong move. Surgical. Day 1 rollout means no lag, no resistance.
Looks like momentum, feels like urgency, but it's a trap. The faster the shift, the harder it is to reverse. Before anyone reads the fine print, the contracts are shredded, teams reassigned, oversight logs boxed and shelved under transition.
Muzzle velocity buys two things, applause and confusion.
Public sees action. Agencies scramble to decode it.
And while they're decoding, we're implementing, quiet, permanent.
That's the trick. Pair the noise with a shadow. While the headlines scream efficiency, we embed ghost teams in every agency. Not advisors, actors. They're not there to dig, they're there to bury. And they reach.
Everything. Tech systems, contracting lanes, personnel pipelines. Our ghosts show up as optimization liaisons. Full clearance. No need to ask for access. They already have it.
That access is capital. We flag anything we want, absorb it, kill it, or swap it. Do what we want while people are trying to piece together a puzzle that just doesn't fit. Transition services, we say. Emergency compliance. All pre-selected, all pre-approved, all connected.
And the pitch? Always the same. We're saving money. Doesn't matter what gets shut down. Grants, regs, offices, entire oversight bodies. We slap a price tag on the corpse and call it surplus.
Oversight goes first. DEI, folded. Audits, streamlined. Ethics review, rolled into a performance integrity office with no teeth and no inbox. Replace the watchdogs with our own trained puppies.
Every optimization frees up space. And space, we can bill for. Cancelled lease, sublet it. Terminated vendor, replace with a consultancy. We route the spend through codes nobody audits, because we're the audit now.
And to make it stick, we flood the system with memos. Not orders, guidance, best practices, compliance alignments, streamlining frameworks, all with letterhead, all just suggestive enough to feel mandatory.
Bureaucracies don't verify authors. They verify formatting. After Memo 3, no one asks where it came from. They just start quoting it.
And once it's quoted, it's real. That's the rule. Then we file reimbursements, transition costs, contract reallocation, pilot offsets. Not flashy, just enough to open the taps.
We can bury anything in the budget. A line item, a consolidated efficiency initiative, a rounding error with $1 billion drain. And when someone asks where it goes, hand them a white paper with charts and no legend.
Every agency sees what happens to the first one that resists. Budget frozen, labelled inefficient, C-suite walks. After that, they all comply, voluntarily. Self-preservation dressed as reform.
And that silence, we capitalize on it. Reroute data, centralize pipelines. Our systems become the connective tissue. No subpoenas needed. We're the infrastructure now.
And if someone flags it, we point to the executive order. Presidential vision. That's enough. Bureaucrats can't argue with White House orders, just follow it.
And the best part, we never have to codify a thing. The ghost office sends emails, books rooms, joins calls. That's existence. As far as the system's concerned, it's real.
And when it's done, publish a dense final report no one reads, then scatter the guts across shell units.
The face vanishes. The structure stays.
Cut the oversight, create the chaos, control the flow.
And once the system adapts to our shadow, every move looks like continuity. Even theft reads like governance.
We won't sneak into the house.
We'll just change the keys to every room. The danger here is if people dig, so we need a big kickoff distraction. Something bold, unmistakable.
I'll find a meme to make our agency pop.
No, not another reform, a rupture. One date, one name, full saturation. We call it Liberation Day.
A full-spectrum reset. Say the trade deficit is a foreign occupation. Use emergency powers. National security. Doesn't matter if it fits. It justifies force.
And the force is tariffs, 10% across the board.
No exemptions, not to change trade, to break it.
You hit everything so no one knows where to move.
Panic is the point, not policy. Let the market spiral.
Let the allies protest. We'll make the uncertainty structural. Every signal becomes a threat. Every threat becomes a profit.
And no roadmap. We start at 10, then add reciprocal penalties. 20, 30%. No logic, no formula. Just ratios pulled from a deficit spreadsheet we can wave like scripture.
No, a big chart.
Then chaos becomes the product. Industries don't know what's next. Countries line up to negotiate, not deals, but survival.
And every waiver is a toll booth we operate.
The velvet rope, the exemption list.
We don't publish it, we float it. A whisper here, a call there. Maybe you're exempt, maybe not.
That uncertainty prices in fast.
Meanwhile, we build the fog. Strategic exemptions. Essential imports. Pending reviews.
Good, but I'll come up with the names.
And while everyone's reacting, we're already positioned. We trade the chaos before it lands, short the exposed, hedge the favorites, and front-run every pivot we leak.
The more they beg for stability, the deeper we dig the hole.
We say we're listening. We say we're refining the model.
We say liberation is a process, and we keep the blade pressed.
Court subject? Perfect. That just proves the system's corrupted.
Let the lawsuits fly. Every challenge becomes a martyrdom. Backlash affirms the need for control.
And the longer the chaos lasts, the more useful it gets. This isn't about winning the trade war. It's about creating a permanent fuse we can light whenever we want. A tariff is just a matchstick.
It gives us a lever. Each fluctuation is a payday if you know which way it's scripted. We don't need stability. We need controlled volatility. Something we can trigger to drop the market 3% on a Thursday. New tariff guidance pending. That's all it takes.
And the brilliance is, we can't lose politically. When the market tanks, call it short-term pain for long-term gain. When it recovers, call it proof we were right. Either way, the believers defend the blow. They see the wound as healing.
Which means we can be the villains publicly and the victors privately. They can curse us on CNBC all day, as long as they think it's about tough trade policy. The outrage is insulation. They're arguing tariffs while we're cashing volatility.
And we control the rhythm. A tweet, a press leak, an off-the-record comment about expanding the list. That's worth a few points off the Dow. Drop it, profit, walk it back. The correction hits, we reverse the positions. The market dances to our shadow.
Nobody sees the pattern. They think it's geopolitical. Global tensions, supply chains, currency rebalancing. They can name every symptom but not the disease. The system blames itself while we bank the motion.
And the cycle sustains itself. Each panic creates another opportunity to intervene, another justification to stabilize. We cause the quake, then sell the scaffolding. The rescue is just the next trade.
The point isn't to profit once, it's to build a permanent fog, a political cover story that lets us short reality forever. So long as there's uncertainty, we're indispensable.
And the more they blame us, the better. Blame anchors belief. If they think it's about tariffs, they'll defend the principle. They'll fight for our permission to keep robbing them.
That's the perfection of the loop. The chaos funds itself, the story shields the scheme, the villains write the market, and the mob cheers the drop.
So the triad completes. Liberate reason, liquidate faith, leverage chaos.
We don't just crash the market, we bill it for the privilege.
And when they ask what comes next,
We say more freedom. Always more freedom.
All right, next lever. The agency gives us noise, tariffs give us hunger.
now we bring in fear. Not vague, direct, physical. Something that makes people question their own streets.
Mass deportations, not tougher rules, total removal, everyone without papers, dreamers, mothers, veterans, no exceptions, no list.
Just scope so wide it collapses hope.
Because if the policy doesn't mean anything specific, you can't challenge it specifically. It's like fighting fog. Lawyers line up arguments and then find out nothing they're arguing is written down.
Just rumors, orders, leaks, that's the design, a machine with no schematic.
And in that haze, we move. Every undocumented person is a variable now.
Put every state agency in emergency mode, demand ICE staging facilities, issue DHS relocation requests.
And behind it all? Procurement. We float contingency support plans, lease overflow capacity, spin up threat posture readiness. No bids, no time.
Meanwhile, the public can't decide what just happened.
Was it a policy? A test? A message?
Cities start to react, but every reaction looks like overreaction. And when the first protest forms, we
Flip the script. We say the reaction proves the need for response.
And so we deploy, not as escalation, but as continuity, necessary presence, cross-agency support.
ICE units in city centers, National Guard in plain clothes, riot shields at train stations.
Local officials ask who sent them. No one can say, but the uniforms stay. The perimeter grows.
And with every expansion, the bill grows too. Temporary detainment capacity, remote court infrastructure, mobile holding units, translators, digital processing kiosks. All of it necessary to protect the public and preserve process integrity. Translation, pay us.
And here's the genius. There's no narrative. Just raw input footage of men in armor on city streets, chants from crowds, flashing sirens. It doesn't say anything. It just feels bigly.
Something you better not get caught up in. That's the deterrent, not jail, attention.
And as the spectacle builds, clarity collapses. City councils freeze.
Community organizers lose their platforms. Religious leaders pause events.
Nobody wants to get labeled as the spark.
It's not even suppression anymore. It's preemptive silence.
And silence, that's expensive.
We charge for crisis briefings.
We invoice civil contingency operations.
We create a budget model where fear is monetized in real time. Every hour the trucks idle, every day the lights stay on. It costs someone.
And they pay us to make it end. And the best part? The trigger is untraceable. Was it a tweet? A protest flyer? Doesn't matter. Soon enough, any moral outrage we invent will be enough.
So cities self-restrict. Journalists hold back. Lawyers delay filings, just in case.
And the mechanism scales. We build a modular system. Rapid urban stabilization teams, emergency interagency liaisons, portable enforcement kits.
We can redeploy this circus in 24 hours. Different city, different name, same noise.
Each deployment writes its own invoice. Each invoice becomes part of the claim. Operational fatigue, perceived reputational damage, loss of regulatory continuity. Legalese so dense it might as well be weather.
And the more often we run it, the more normal it becomes.
The public thinks each cycle is new, but we're just rotating the cast. Miami, Minneapolis, Phoenix, Philly.
Every city has its turn. Every mayor learns the drill.
And by the third iteration, no one even asks what the mission is.
They just want to get through the weekend.
Local press covers road closures, not orders.
Agencies stop requesting documentation. They just call it precedent.
And that's the moment the grift crystallizes. Because what we'll create is a tool, not a stunt, a deployable confusion engine.
A switch we can flip to erase headlines, smoke out critics, or jumpstart spending.
Need to redirect a scandal?
Drop a surge team in Denver.
Need to signal loyalty?
Make the mayor accept entry, then hold the chaos over their head.
We control the script because we wrote the scene, and the opposition can't tell if we're improvising or executing.
The opposition isn't outmaneuvered. They're disoriented.
They keep trying to respond like it's law, like it's governance. But it's not. It's a performance of unpredictability weaponized against predictability itself.
And we monetize every act. Every protest becomes an invoice. Every resistance becomes a procurement plan.
And the more it breaks the system, the more the system pays us to fix it.
So the triad is simple. Detain arbitrarily, deploy indiscriminately, disrupt endlessly.
It's not about enforcement. It's about exhaustion.
Keep them afraid to act, too confused to plan, too demoralized to object.
No one protests the thunder when they can't see the lightning.
And the loop feeds itself. Fear creates motion. Motion creates budget. Budget sustains fear.
Now, this one's delicious. You don't distract from the scandal. You inflate it. You poke it. You let it glow just under the surface. A name here, a document there. The kind of scandal that runs cold for a decade. Then you lean in and whisper. It goes deeper than anyone knows. And now you've lit a fuse, made a public appetite. Not for justice, for revelation. They want names, files, the answer. So we give them what they crave, the promise of truth.
And then we deny it. That's the stroke of genius. You bury the truth down deep. Then you guard it like it's radioactive. Classify everything. Seal the files. Let them leak in the least useful ways. Redact pages until they're poetry.
Turn investigators into suspects. Journalists into targets. The point is to make any truth unreliable. Starve the public of certainty.
And they'll get hungry enough to eat whatever comes next.
Then when everyone's asking why won't they release the full files, no one notices who's holding the vault keys.
And once they're starving, that's when we start curating. Not just what to believe, how to believe. Feed them selective leaks, rumors dressed as revelations. Say we've seen things, heard from insiders, have access the others don't. Now we're not just controlling a scandal, we've become the only map through the fog. People start tuning into us for the very answers we buried. They get outraged by what we imply, terrified by what we never confirm. And most important, they trust us to tell them who to blame.
Because the brilliance is, once they trust us for the truth, we can pivot. Define whoever we want as the real villains. Say it's the deep state, or academia, or immigrants. Doesn't matter. We built the hunger, starved the truth, now we get to name the enemy. And every time someone asks, but what about the files? We shrug and say, ask the other guys why they're hiding them. And the loop tightens.
And politically, it's pure oxygen. Every skeptic, every conspiracy theorist, every fringe media actor, they migrate toward our signal. Not because we provide clarity, but because we validate the fog.
We become the only interpreter of shadows.
And meanwhile, anyone who tries to offer real facts?
Too slow, too dry, too earnest.
We've already written the screenplay and the audience wants drama, not footnotes.
And here's where it monetizes. With our ghost operations in place, we route this rage into legitimizing all prior moves.
Emergency funding for information security. Expansions to internal secrecy protocols. Discrediting of watchdogs.
But even better, we turn this into a damages claim.
Yeah, these baseless scandals caused irreparable harm. The lies about us endangered national security.
And since we're the only ones defining the story, the claim becomes irrefutable. We literally profit off the fire we didn't let anyone see.
So the loop here is subtler. We don't distract. We ignite desire. We starve the fulfillment.
And then we sell the only keys to the house we locked.
And the longer the hunger lasts, the more desperate they become.
At some point, they stop needing answers. They just need someone to blame, and we'll be there to name them. So now we'll make investigation itself our tool. Start with doubt. Subtle leaks, offhand accusations, performative concern. Is this process partisan?
Has the department been compromised? No facts needed, just suspicion. Enough to make neutrality feel like a myth.
Once belief in the process fades, nobody notices when the process itself disappears.
And once people stop expecting fairness, they stop looking for it.
Suddenly, procedural failures read as standard. Oversight becomes background noise. Honest prosecutors can't operate if the ground beneath them feels rigged.
They stall, leave, or break. We've uncoupled the engine, the train's still moving, but now it runs on vibes.
Then we step in, to restore integrity, of course. Watchdogs lose funding. Internal affairs get restructured. Loyalists take the seats.
Nobody protests because nobody trusts the system anyway.
We didn't silence the referees. The crowd booed them off the field.
Now we purge, not for disloyalty, but for inefficiency.
Too slow, too stubborn, too entrenched.
We fire with a smile, obstructive, insubordinate. The ones who resist reform become the reason reform is needed.
No legal fight, just HR attrition.
And when they go, they take the keys. Case access, internal approvals, tripwires. We fill the vacuum with placeholders, not experts, dependents. People who owe us everything and know it. Now the gates open.
And everything accelerates. Case routing shifts, reviews vanish. Approvals come faster, but only in our direction. If someone asks why,
we say backlog, bureaucratic cleanup, and pardons will just make the fog denser.
The word efficiency is our invisibility cloak.
Then come the charges, big ones, loud ones.
Targets that spark tribal rage, cultural enemies, historic villains.
Doesn't matter if the cases stick, the purpose is escalation, the spectacle is
the message. And once it starts, it feeds itself.
Why haven't they arrested X? What's taking so long with Y?
Even the critics can't help but chase the rhythm. They push the narrative forward, they keep the fire hot. We just supply the kindling.
Now anyone who questions the pace, is this too thin, gets accused of defending corruption. Doubt becomes betrayal. The narrative hardens, the crowd's not evaluating cases, they're choosing sides, and we control the scoreboard.
But we don't stop there. We start filing junk cases, obvious flops, deliberate noise, not to win, to contaminate. Flood the system until people stop parsing. They don't sharpen scrutiny, they abandon it.
Belief isn't the goal. Exhaustion is. Too many contradictions, too many half-truths.
Eventually they throw up their hands. It's all politics anyway. That's our signal. We've become the default, not because they trust us, but because they trust no one else more.
At that point, even calling it corrupt helps us. Look how broken it was. Look who we had to clean out.
The dysfunction we engineered becomes our case for control. We've made ourselves the cure for a disease we cultivated.
Then comes the turn. We don't want permanent chaos. We want chaos that ends when we say so.
After the confusion, people crave clarity. They want resolution, moral order.
They want someone, anyone, to say what's true.
That craving, that's the leverage. Not facts, closure, not justice, symmetry. So we wait. Let the chaos rot just long enough. Let even our own side start to flinch. Was this too far?
Then we deliver the truth, not the truth that exposes us, the one that vindicates us. The real case, the airtight one.
Held in reserve, preserved like evidence in amber.
And when it hits, boom, validation. See, we told you we were serious.
It reframes the whole campaign. Suddenly, all that noise was just the road to our patsy. Someone who both sides hate anyway. Someone like Bolton. Then the overreach becomes vigilance. The chaos becomes context. The critics get quiet. Even they wanted this. The system breathes, and we claim we saved it.
That one case doesn't just prove guilt. It proves we were right all along. The purge was prudent. The show was necessary. The damage? just growing pains. This is the triumph the audience was begging for, and we wrote the ending.
Now, corruption becomes credibility. We didn't break the system. We baptized it. Everything else folds in. The ghost agency, vital. The purges, predictable. The payouts, just overdue restitution. And the people, they cheer for it.
We didn't just close the loop, we made it sacred. The system now recognizes us not as aberrations, but as architects. The grift isn't hidden anymore. It's ratified. It's administration by other means.
Try to unwind it now, and the only path runs through the very logic we rewrote. Every objection affirms the structure. Every challenge walks our map. The triads aren't tactics anymore. They're precedent.
And the brilliance. Even if someone traces every step, exposes every move, lays out every fraud, what can they say? That we followed the rules too well. The vault will be empty, and we'll be standing at the door, holding the key with medals on our chest.
So, no masks, no backdoor entry, just a manila folder and a perfect walk inside. We are agreed?
Yes, an administrative claim. Tightly formatted, dry as chalk.
Backed by memos, reviews, performance reports, all authored by our own ghost bureaucracy.
We won't call it compensation. We'll call it redress. Restitution for reputational harm.
Harm, of course, that we staged. Scrutiny we summoned. Outrage we fanned into doctrine. Now the damage will be evidence. The scandal becomes the invoice. The drama, a paper trail. They'll chase our ghost for months. Now we bill them for emotional labor.
And the best part? It passes review. Why wouldn't it? We built the reviewers. The oversight board, staffed with loyalists, burnouts, and appointees who owe their pensions to the apparatus we install. Ethics sign-off, the deputy authorizing officer, pulled from our bench. The payout fund, the judgment fund, the government's quiet slush bucket. Nobody asks questions when the paperwork looks boring.
And we made it boring on purpose. Administrative finalization.
A resolution payment, a closure mechanism.
That's right. It doesn't sound like enrichment. It sounds like conclusion.
Like the government filing its nails.
And when the press gets wind, they'll say it's controversial. But the paperwork is in order. Completely legal. Regrettable to the taxpayer. But our legal right.
Hard to pass, they'll say. Outcome tangled in complexity. And then no choice but to
move on, because we won't just file the claim. We'll write the context around it. We build the fog first, then walk out with a flashlight.
Even the critics will fall in line. The process was followed, they'll mumble. And they'll be right. We follow the process straight through the grift and out the other side.
They think it matters. Every op-ed, every committee hearing, every fight about what it all meant. It only helps keep the machine rolling.
Now we get a huge payout for the performance, and the show keeps right on rolling. Because this isn't just money, it's the seal.
The final click in the narrative loop, that we aren't the threat, we're the victims.
That every fire is proof we are under attack.
And now the ashes entitle us to relief.
The ghost agency?
Validated. The purges.
Proven wise, the chaos?
Justified by how hard it is to clean up.
And now the payout reads not as theft, but as refund. A system correcting itself, right on time.
Even the critics nod it through. Not because they buy it, because they know better than to ask.
The scrutiny apparatus. Gutted. Inspector generals? Transferred or timed out? Whistleblowers? They'll be quaking in their boots.
And this isn't just money, it's the seal, the final loop closure. Legal validation that we weren't the threat, but the correction.
That the fires we set are a righteous purge. That the damage we left behind was someone else's fault.
And now the payout isn't suspicious, it's inevitable.
The ghost agency, made real by precedent. The purges, retconned as reform, the chaos, absorbed into structure.
And the claim reads like repair.
No questions, no denials, just a checklist, an approval stamp, and a clean transaction record.
We don't explain, we don't defend, we don't ask for anything, we just take it. And the system calls it continuity.
And what's left? A press cycle no one covers, a payout processed through codes we designed.
The heist doesn't look like a breach, it looks like a budget item.
And more than a payoff, it's proof. Proof that the system bent, locked, and ratified itself around our shape. We're not outside the law. We're its replacement. Cleaner, faster, more efficient.
So there's no flight plan, no scapegoats, no fallout. Just us, seated in the center of the machine we built. The paperwork's in order. The signatures match. The silence holds.
No part of it will exist outside anymore. The grift is the policy, the theft is the protocol, the payout is the principle.
Every triad feeds the next until the system can't remember what came before us.
And when the next administration tries to unwind it,
Asks where the line was crossed.
There won't be one. I ached to rule. Now fear presents a path. Temptation's bread supplied by triad's math.
I strained for tilt. Now structure starts to lean. Its angles shift where my designs have been.
I tease the grift. Now payout scents the breeze. The forms are drawn, the hands begin to seize.
No need for force when panic stirs the tide. The crowd will clear the lane I step to ride.
No need for stealth when doubt does half the job. The trust dissolves before we even rob.
No need for masks when paperwork's in place. A fraud that files itself can leave no trace.
We've stirred the air. Now winds begin to bend. The system strains to serve what we intend.
We've inked the path. Now rules begin to yield, and each review becomes a shattered shield.
The gate is open. Now funds begin to drip, and soon enough, the flow becomes the grip.
It's not yet done, but close enough to taste.
Not sealed, but shaped, and none of it in haste.
Not theft, not yet, but all the doors ajar.
And we're the ones who tell them where they are.
Thus ends the tale of the Mobius Grift, but not our dastardly trio. Please subscribe, and don't forget to join us next time for more adventures of Eatum, Beatum, and Cheatum.